So hello and welcome back to Go Again Gaming and the league that means absolutely nothing here on the channel. Ian is away right now at the time of this recording, so I'm going to be stepping in to do some casting over this Azalea versus Vynsett game. Before we go into it, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel and do all that good stuff. At the time of this video, I haven't hit 2,000 subscribers yet, so maybe when it comes out I might have done that already, but if I haven't, please help me on the way. But yeah, it's going to be a fun game. Azalea, absolutely still love the hero, of course, and yeah, it's one of my favourite heroes of all time, if not my favourite hero of all time. Really liking the look of some of the new heroes in the new set, though, and Assassin looks quite cool now as well. The Chaos Assassin, I might have to rep that myself, but Vynsett being piloted by Jay and Azalea being piloted by Anya here in the League That Means Nothing Season 3. Should be a fun game. Azalea, my sort of experience, I'm not great on the deck by all means, but I think Azalea can struggle into Vynsett quite a lot because Vynsett's wheelhouse is very much, or can be, a mid-rangey sort of game plan that Azalea is really hard to try and get into. You do really have to pressure the Vynsett early to not allow them to keep cards or keep turns, and it's hard to do that when the Vynsett player has got things like Carrion Husk and a whole Rune Blade suite of armor that they can lean on to prevent you from doing that. And then once Vynsett gets rolling, especially with some of the new cards from Rosetta, it can prove to be quite hard for Azalea to get into that, especially with a lot of the interactive attacks that Vynsett does have access to with like the widespread stuff. So it should be a good game. Let's get down to it and see how it goes. But before we do that, let's hear a message from one of our sponsors as well. The League That Means Nothing Season 3 is brought to you in part by Enter the Battlefield Gaming out of Ontario, Canada. They do all of our favourite games, including this one, Flesh and Blood. They do sealed, singles, and events. But they also do things like Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lorcana, One Piece, Sorcery, Warhammer, tabletop games, and all sorts of different supplies for your table. Make sure you go and check them out if you're local to Canada, or check out their website at enterthebattlefield.ca. Let's get on with the tournament. So, Anya North versus Jay Maye, and Jay's going to be opting to go first, and that makes sense because Vynsett does like to set up a little bit, and obviously, of course, you are going to be banishing a card straight away, which we are going to see from Jay here, and it's going to be banishing a Sink Below, okay, or maybe taking that back. No, he's going to be banishing the Sink Below. No, he's not. Jay, what are you doing? He's going to be banishing what looks like a... can't see from that angle. I don't know the art, and obviously the foiling is putting me off a little bit there, so I'm not entirely sure. But that's going to create a rune chart nonetheless, so it must be a Shadow Rune Blade card. Yeah, we're going to start off with a Malefic Incantation, which is one of the new cards that came from Rosetta, just really giving extra gas to Rune Blades. Obviously Vynsett loves it, Viserai loves it. It seems to be one of the staple cards that Rune Blades can have access to now. Just that, I'm just going to Arsenal pass. Anya's going to activate Death Dealer, pitching a Spire Sniping, putting a Remorseless into the arsenal, and drawing a card off of Death Dealer. So that's a yellow Spire Sniping. Looks like it's been pitched. I love Spire Sniping just because it allows you to look at more cards, and that's always good. Release Attention coming in here. So if Jay has established a D-React in the arsenal, it's not going to be able to be played, and now we see a Read the Glide Path as well, which allows Anya to look at the top card of the deck just one more time. Well, the first time this turn, because no Skullbone's been established. So this is quite good. Azalea, loving to find cards off the top. Maybe not the card that she wants to see there, though, just getting that to the bottom. We got some Remorseless coming in here for 11 damage. Coming in. No Dominate. Still a card to establish in the arsenal, which is always good. But sending 11 damage on the first turn is pretty cool, pretty nice. On-hit effect of Remorseless can actually matter against Vynsett as well, because Vynsett does like to do a lot of actions. That's a great thing about Vynsett. Vynsett can go high, she can go wide, she can do a lot of good things. Anya just pointing out here the combo between Release Attention and Remorseless, just not allowing any Arsenal cards to be played at all from, D-Reaction in the Arsenal, I should say. The old classic combo that I used to love was Dreadbore and Release Attention. That allows you to play no D-Reacts against the arrow that you're firing. Jay looking to potentially put one card in front of this at the moment. thinking about his decisions with a nice, was it Requiem, something Requiem? The Requiem of the Damned, maybe? The playmat that he's playing on. Blocking for Shadow Puppetry, though, which I believe blocks for 2, does it? So he's going to take 9 damage. Yeah, wow. So the Remorseless effect is on the stack now as well. So any damage or any action cards that Jay now plays is going to ping him for 1 as well. But yeah, nice load of damage coming off of Azalea straight away there. And establishing the arsenal. Which means Anya's going to be able to have a look at the top card of her deck next turn. We've got a Vynsett trigger here, banishing the Deathly Whale, which is, I think, one of Jay's favourite cards. He does love a Deathly Whale. He's going to be cracking the Vexing Quill Hand to go up to 4 rune chants here. 1 from turn 1, 1 from turn 2, and obviously 2 extra from the Vexing that you just cracked, going up to 4 rune chants. So we can rune gate the Deathly Whale, which is quite nasty. Obviously on attack as well, you're going to be able to get another rune chant on the back end because of the Malefic. But Shadow Puppetry is being played. Next attack action card gets +1 and go again. If it hits, you may look at the top card of your deck and banish it. That's always good. But more importantly is obviously a Shadow action, which means Jay can choose to trigger Vynsett, which is what he is doing here, I believe. Or I think he's deciding to do it. He's not going to, but he's taking 1 damage off of the Remorseless anyway. And now he's playing a Beseech the Demagon, taking another damage from Remorseless. And this is going to be a huge attack being reduced by the Rune Gate mechanic here. This is going to be a +4 on this Deathly Whale, coming in for a massive load of damage, plus the rune chants on the back end as well. That is quite a lot of damage being presented by Jay, and this is something that Vynsett can do. And the Remorseless trigger wasn't taken here. Thank you, Az, for editing that in post, so I remember that. But yeah, no damage off of the Remorseless was taken there, which should have been done. Yeah, 4 and... what is that, 10? 10 and 4? Because of the +4 from Shadow Puppetry and the Beseech. So 14 damage being thrown back at Anya here. And we all know that Azalea does not like to block. And that is always dangerous because Anya's going to take the 4 rune chants straight away to the face there. And obviously the Malefic is going to create a rune chant off of the back. And the great thing about this as well is that Deathly Whale is going to create more rune chants on the end of this turn because both players have lost life. Jay's lost life because of the Remorseless, and Anya's lost life because of the damage. Wow, this is just going downhill quite quickly. Already Anya's just taking the damage, eating all of the damage being thrown here. And as we can see, coming in with another Deathly Whale is absolutely insane. Coming in for a lot of damage, and Anya's just like, yep, Azalea does not block. We're just going to send a 5-card hand with a look at the top of the deck back at you. What else are you going to do? And the problem is, you can take all this damage. But you still have to get through the Runeblade Armor Suite, which is a Face Purgatory, which interacts with your turn, a Carrion Husk, which blocks 6 damage, and of course, remembering the Remorseless trigger there on the second Deathly Whale, which is good. So thanks players for doing that. And the Spellbound Creepers. Anya has to get through all of that yet. So that's like an additional. Jay's basically on 37, 36 life right now. I can't remember what Spellbound blocks for 2, does it, or blocks for 1? I can't remember. But yeah, Jay has sat at a lot more life than what is being presented here. So that's the danger you get into against Runeblade, taking too much damage. But a Lace with Frailty being played here. Amplifying Arrow, which is a great yellow to be pitched into Death Dealer, leaves you 1 resource floating to add to load an arrow in and draw a card. A great card that's been added to a lot of Azalea lists this year. Even I think it was early as as late as last year maybe. But loading in Red in the Ledger, a classic Azalea card, of course. People just want to play Azalea because of the power of this Red in the Ledger. Vynsett can navigate Red in the Ledgers quite easily, though, with just sending Runegate cards back, so it's probably not the most effective card that you can play against a Vynsett, because they can do a lot of things that don't really matter, but it's still coming in for quite a bit of damage here. Coming in for, is that 8? Should be Lace with Frailty plus the on-hit of, well, the Red in the Ledger for 5, so it should be for 8 damage. Jay just thinking, yeah, I can conserve some life here, and just block it out, block the whole thing out with Carrion Husk and the widespread annihilation. Anya's going all in with the Snapdragon Scalers. She has got rid of the Carrion Husk now, which is good. We want to see the armor go down as quickly as possible. Azalea just has to leverage her life total to be able to do these sorts of things, though, which is puts you on a bit of a danger zone, because you don't have that equipment to sort of fall back onto. You just got to basically just go for it. And we are going to see a Not Death Whistle going to get a card of choice to put on top of the deck. And, of course, she has reloaded a card into the arsenal as well with one card left in hand. So it looks like this is going to be able to be another Remorseless dominated by the looks of it. And Remorseless is probably one of the best options you can get against Vynsett, because Vynsett likes to do a lot of different actions, as Rune Blades do. So we'll see how this goes, but Anya having to take a lot of damage to try and get a foothold into this game. But at least the Carrion Husk is gone. That's the big thing, right? That's the big thing that Vynsett can lean on as long as she wants to. And we are seeing the full hand being used to fire the Remorseless. The other video is going to trigger to opt 2, which is pretty good. Just allowing Anya to decide what she wants to see next in the next turn cycle. And Remorseless just going to be coming in for 5. And again, Vynsett, it is dominated, so obviously only one card can be used from hand to block this, unless there is a D-React in the arsenal, but the D-React is turned off from Remorseless. So depending on what Jay's composition is, he might just take this damage, depending on what sort of attack he wants to throw back, because you can rune gate some stuff. There is no stuff in the banished zone right now, so you'd have to keep a card in hand at the start of turn to then banish to then rune gate something out potentially if he wants to try and conserve life. But yeah, blocking with a Succumb and a Face Purgatory, so just blocking all of the damage, deciding to conserve life on this particular turn. Face Purgatory not getting the special effect, but still blocking for 2 is just a fantastic Runeblade headpiece, really is. And we're banishing a Deathly Delight, which is another great card that Jay loves. Creating a rune chant, of course, and then beseeching the Demagon for nothing. Choosing to trigger Vynsett this time. And this is good with Deathly Delight, because obviously it just nets you a life. Because for each hero that lost life this turn, you gain that much life. So you're basically just netting 1 life, as long as your opponent loses life as well. So, yeah, that's just a great play in general. Always making use of that with Vynsett, just netting that 1 life. Yeah, Anya just takes the rune chance, and is still now staring down an 8 Deathly Delight. And this is exactly what I'm saying, right? Vynsett is capable of just mid-ranging Azalea out. There is a turn where the Runeblade player can just be like, yeah, I'm going to lean on my armor now for an insane amount of value because of Carrion Husk, and I don't care about the damage being taken by Carrion Husk anymore. You just basically get an extra turn most of the time against Azalea, and it's really tough for her to really get into this. And I speak from a casual level, but all my Vynsett games that I've played into with Azalea have been hard. So yeah, it's a tough one. And Jay just taking 1 damage to Blood Debt from the Carrion Husk that we've mentioned. But that Carrion Husk prevented a lot of damage. So Anya's just going to use a Tunic here to load in a Hamstring Shot. Interesting. That's a classic card from Arcane Rising. One of the OG taxers on an arrow. And playing a Seek and Destroy. Great card. Love that card. Fantastic card. And just firing in this Hamstring Shot for 8 damage. That's going to come in and threaten the next attack, costing 1 extra with the Hamstring Shot. So that can throw a little bit of spanner in the works with the way Vynsett likes to operate. But will it be enough? to try and wrestle this game back from 9 life to 28 life. We will see. And we've already seen the defensive capabilities of Vynsett, but that's mainly come from the armor that she had to lean on. So we will see how this goes. But Azalea presenting an 8 damage attack, which if it does hit, will not allow Jay to keep an arsenal, because obviously it means that he has to discard all cards in hand and arsenal at the end of his next turn if it does hit. And it looks like he's gesturing to block with a widespread destruction, which does block for 6. 6. That's the new brute card that blocks for 6. I'm wrong. Yeah, we are going to see a block for, is that 4 or 5? I think that's 4, isn't it? Spellbound is 1, is it? Yeah, that makes sense because the sync blow is being played. There we go. So blocking cleanly for 8, which is absolutely perfect. And again, Jay showing that D-reacts and defensive capabilities of Vynsett can also be present in the deck as well. Just sat there in the arsenal, allowing him to prevent this from happening. But it looks like, there we go, Anya is gestured at a Rain Razors, which is going to force through 2 damage and the on-hit of both Seek and Destroy and Hamstring Shot. So is that going to be enough to screw up Jay's turn here? That's obviously 2 damage leaking over to put Jay to 26. I'm taking a swig of drink there because apparently I can talk quite a lot. But yeah, that's what a caster does, I guess. I'm wearing many hats in this league, I must say. But yeah, Jay starts with banishing another Deathly Whale, creating a rune chant off of Vynsett ability, of course. And just deciding what he wants to do. Obviously, the attack is going to cost an additional 1. So, is that screwing up the plan enough to allow Anya to get a foot back into this game? That's what she needs right now. And wow, it's just an Arsenal pass. Well, so that Hamstring Shot... Oh, we've missed a Seek and Destroy trigger on here, though, as well. So I didn't actually catch that in post-production either. Az, you suck! But we have missed a Seek and Destroy trigger, so Jay wouldn't have been able to arsenal that card or keep any of the cards in his hand there. Oh, there we go. There we go. Az did remember. Well done, Az. I doubted myself for a moment there. I was like, oh, maybe I forgot to remember this. But yeah, it does look like the Seek and Destroy effect has been resolved and caught there just in the nick of time. So hopefully he didn't turn the video off. But there we go. People turn the video off all the time. It's okay. I understand. Go Again Gaming's garbage. My channel's rubbish. Anyway, so we are seeing Death Dealer being activated here to put an infecting shot on the arsenal. Then we're going to follow up with a Read the Glide Path, which is going to look at the top cards. Can we find a Dominate? This is where we need to start forcing on hits, trying to find the evasion while Vynsett is now naked. She has no armor left whatsoever. This is what we need to work towards. The life gap is quite a lot right now. We are going to dominate a Bolton Shot, though, so that Bolton Shot's going to come off the top. We are going to be able to dominate that and potentially follow up with maybe a Bullseye Bracers to put something else in and fire it. Or if the reload, on-hit reload trigger goes through, we can force an extra bit of wideness on this particular turn. And this is probably the turn that Anya needed to try and get back into this, with Jay now being utterly naked on the other side of the board. And Anya just thinking, okay, maybe there's another buff I can put on this Bolton Shot, which is going to be dominated. Or do I save it for something else? That's what she's thinking right now. But I love watching Flesh and Blood. I love commentating on Flesh and Blood, even though I'm not the best. I don't know all the lines and everything, but I definitely know Azalea to a certain degree, you should say. Well, at least I hope so. That's what I've built my channel on most of the time, but now it's a league that means nothing here on Go Again Gaming. And yeah, Bolton Shot coming in for 7 with Go Again. It looks like Jay is just going to block with a Deathly Delight and take a little bit of damage there on the 4. And the reload is being utilised to activate the cross wrap, which is cool, because that hasn't been used this turn. So flipping up Amplifying Arrow and leaving that card on top, and then coming in with an Amplifying Arrow for just some raw damage and a Ponder, which is pretty good. It looks like Jay's just going to be blocking for 6. And that is that. So that's fully blocked because Amplifying Arrow gets +4 from the Premeditate. So no ponder for Anya, unfortunately. And Jay can just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw this Deathly Whale at you for 3 and 6, which is lethal. That's the power of Vynsett. You can soak up so much damage and just have a huge mid-rangey swing off of the back of those rune chant reduction from Runegate. It's just hard to fight that battle against Vynsett, especially in this late game as well, where you've got split damage coming in, and Anya's just choosing to take the 3 rune chants and block out the rest, and having to operate an Azalea hand with 2 cards is load an arrow, fire it, and then, well, load a 0 cost, fire it, or load a 0 cost, draw a buff, play it. So you can maybe do using the Funeral Moon as well to get. I completely missed that there. But I was just more damage from Blood Debt coming in. Tunic going up to 2 from Anya's side of things, and it looks like you could bullseye bracer something in if you've got a 0 cost, but a Lace of Blood Rot coming in, and a Codex. That's okay. That's pretty good. That'll do. That'll come in for 7. You'll need what's a 0 cost? Bolt and Shot. That's the only one that she's probably played. This Amplifying Arrow, maybe. But yeah, she's going to opt for the Bolt and Shot. You are going to get the Ponder. Jay is going to get the Frailty. But going to be representing a little bit more damage than just 7 because of the Blood Rot on hit as well. She's going to use the Skullbone Cross Wrap because, of course, Codex does put things in face down. I always forget that myself. I always like, yeah, Codex, bring it out, fire it. But it does allow you to opt as well because it brings it in face down. So it's something that I always forget as well a lot of the time. Because you're so eager to just fire the thing from the graveyard that you forget that you can just potentially get something off the top if you reveal it from Cross Wrap, if you haven't used Cross Wrap that turn already. So remember that in your Azalea games, people. Codex will allow you to opt if you have not opted through Cross Wrap already. And you're saying, no, I don't want to see that on my next turn cycle. I don't want that in my arsenal from the Ponder. So I'm just going to fire in for 7. And Jay's like, yeah, okay, block for 3. And what else? Take the 4. Okay, so he does get a Blood Rot as well. So he does have 2 plagues under his control. He does have the Blood Rot and the Frailty, which Anya has got the tokens out for, which is nice. And the Ponder will resolve, and that is going to go into the arsenal. So that was the card that she put. She got instead of the card that she opted. She opted the Cross Wrap card to the bottom and decided to just go with that. So hopefully that's a better option for you, Anya. But we'll see. Jay is going to be just putting a card in Banish, creating a rune chart, and then firing yet another Deathly Whale for 6 and 5. So this is what I mean. It's insane. Towards the end of the game there, you can just block, conserve some life, and then just start firing these huge attacks still. That was just an insane. Even when you're banishing cards from hand at the start of your turn, you can just fire back these insane damage attacks. Which, of course, Deathly Whale as well is insane because it just creates rune chants off the back end. Which is even better if you can activate Vynsett's ability to get 2 rune chants off of damage being dealt. But yeah, of course, the Frailty token just being signified here that Deathly Whale's being not reduced in power, I don't think. It was played from the arsenal. Okay, we missed that. So yeah, it's coming in for 5 and 5. But still, that's a lot of damage. That is dead if it hits. Well, not actually. It's not actually dead if it hits. It's dead if the whole thing hits. What are you talking about? This is why Ian does the commentary. God, dearie me. But yeah, Anya taking the rune chance, going down to 1 life, and now seeing a 5 come in. We are blocking that cleanly for 3 and 2 with the Premeditate and the Endless Arrow. And then we are going to see a Funeral Moon being played from Banished. We are going to see a Vynsett trigger as well. And that will allow the Deathly Whale to basically create 2 rune chants off the back end rather than 1. So that's a cool play. Just playing that Funeral Moon from the Banished zone, triggering Vynsett's ability to then basically just get extra value out of your however many heroes have lost life this turn clause. So that's a cool little line there. So Anya's turn, going to be opting with cross wrap, revealing a take aim. So that's a nice little buff which will allow you to put something into your arsenal without using your bow, which is pretty good. Very, very old, classic buff. Tunic is active as well. Bullseye Braces is active as well. So this could be another stretch that Anya can capitalise on, although we did see her block for 2 cards last turn, so we'll see what happens here. Take aim, choosing to reload a card into the arsenal. Then we're going to see a... Wow, okay, this is a defiant last stand on the 1 life here. And Codex coming in with a +6 buff behind it. That is pretty good. Opting for the Red in the Ledger, which is going to be key to potentially shutting down these last Vynsett turns, if possible. The Tunic trigger is going to be utilised to fire this at Jay's face. But now that we're sat on 1 life, it's going to be hard to stop the rune chance. Azalea, especially the Azalea decks these days, are very red and yellow heavy, so it's hard to really pitch to AB. Obviously, we do have the Enchanted Quiver that might help us in these sorts of matchups going forward to maybe prevent a little bit more arcane. But yeah, it's not a spot you want to be in on 1 life against rune chance. It's never a good spot to be in. But still going to be threatening 11 damage on this Red in the Ledger, which is still dead if it hits. But as we've seen, Vynsett can navigate those 1 actions. So even if Vynsett takes a lot of damage here, or conserves life here, she can do either things. All that Vynsett needs to do is banish a card from hand and then play it from Rune Gate with the Rune Chance, and there you go, you're threatening loads of damage again. So I think it's a hard spot for Azalea to get out of, but we will see what happens. Players are having a little bit of a discussion over something here. I can't remember for the life of me what it was, but the buffs are being played. And maybe Jay's trying to decide what card to discard then. No, he's got 3 cards in hand. He discarded a Morvran, I think. So I'm not entirely sure what is being discussed here, but it's going to be hard for Azalea to climb out of this situation, I think. I think it's just the game plan of Vynsett in this scenario, being able to potentially block, still banish, and then play a big card out for nothing is just better at this point in the game, especially with Anya being on 1 life. But we are going to see the Tunic be used to fire off that Red in the Ledger for 11, coming in, threatening 1 action next turn, also threatening non-Arsenal because of inertia. Shuffle your hand and Arsenal away. But it looks like Jay is ready to block something, of course, because obviously he's dead if he doesn't. But we'll see to what effectiveness this hand can be crafted with. Because he's going to go up to 4 rune chance, right? Well, he's going to go up to 4 rune chance anyway because of reduce. There we go. So he's going to go up to 4 rune chance. He's going to be blocking 7, taking 4. Taking 4. Going down to 6, yep. And now, whatever he banishes in hand is obviously a card that he can play with Rune Gate, which is just going to end the game, I think. So he's got an inertia, but will that matter? We are definitely approaching the end game now. But it looks like Jay is just going to be able to banish to Vynsett. Banish an Eloquent Eulogy, which costs nothing to play. Goes up, and here we go. There we go. 4 and 5 coming in, and that is GG's. Not being able to stop the arcane because of the reds in hand is just the way Azalea goes, and that is pretty much it. So that was a pretty sick game, yeah, as I mentioned, it's hard for Azalea to really claw into those games because of Vynsett's big armor suite and the fact that she can trade blows very, very well, even with the on-hits of things like Red in the Ledger not really affecting Vynsett. And Remorseless was pretty cool in that game. But yeah, fair play to Jay Maye for again bringing Vynsett to another league that means nothing and going 1-0 in the first round. But that's pretty much it. I've been Az from Go Again Gaming, this channel. I'm editing most of the games at the moment. Well, I'm editing all of the games at the moment, but Ian's not around at the moment, so I'm just doing a bit of casting here and there. But I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and yeah, we'll see you still all over again very, very soon. Cheers, folks. Goodbye.